Hey folks, Doug Wilson, CEO of Wilson Auto Group in Jackson, Mississippi. A lot of my friends say, sometimes they feel like they're going to get taken advantage of. A lot of people are fearful when they go to buy a car. There really are pitfalls. It's a major investment and you really can make a lot of mistakes. So I put together a short video to describe to you the 7 biggest mistakes people make in buying a car. So we're going to jump right in. Number one, top of the list, of course, people always say, pay too much. And it's obviously you can get clocked in a car dealership. It's absolutely possible, although there's so much information out there that you can do so much research on new vehicles. But on used vehicles, sometimes people buy cars from private individuals. And a lot of times, I've seen this thousands and thousands of times in my career. Private individual, and they have their car priced because they had a friend of theirs that sold their car for that same amount of money. Notwithstanding the fact that their friend's vehicle was a 4-wheel drive truck and theirs is 2-wheel drive, or that their vehicle has 90,000 miles on it and their friend's had 50,000 miles on it. Or they say that they need X number of dollars for it, they just need the payoff on it. Well, that has nothing to do with the value of it. You're not going to pay me any more money for a car based upon how much money I owe on it. That's ridiculous. It has no value whatsoever, no standing on the value of the automobile whatsoever, what someone owes on the vehicle. Whether they paid cash for the car when they originally bought it or they financed it for a zillion years, that's not of any consequence to you, and it has no bearing on the value, right? But yet we see time and time again private individuals selling automobiles for way, way, way over market value, and the reason is they can't stand the note and they need payoff on the car, because that's the reason why they're selling it, try to pay the car off, and they have to have the amount of money to pay it off. They don't have $2,000 in their pocket to reach down into and pay it off. They're having trouble meeting the car payments as it is, right? Makes sense? Item number 2, buying too much car. Even if you get a great deal on a car, if you're paying over 25% of your income out in car payments, then you could wind up in financial trouble. Financial trouble means you could be paying high, exorbitant interest rates down the road, or driving a junker, ruin your credit, and all kind of mean and nasty things. Ideally, your car payment should be about 15% of your income. Number 3 biggest mistakes I see people making buying a car is no service or poor service. A lot of times they get so caught up in trying to save a nickel or a dime that they don't realize that, hey, where are they going to get this car service after the fact? I'm gonna bet that you can't remember within $300 or $400 what you paid for a car that you bought 10 years ago. But every day I hear stories of people that come into the dealership and say they remember the service that they got out of the vehicle. They remember a car that they owned 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and what a great car it was, and the trips they made in it. They remember the service they got out of the dealership, the service they got out of the automobile. You're not going to remember long term within a few $100s what you paid for the car. And yet so many people equate warranty to service. Warranty and service are 2 completely different issues. Warranty is who's going to pay for it. Just because you have a warranty doesn't mean you're going to get good service. You can buy a vehicle at a used car superstore, and there's a prominent one in the United States of America, I won't mention by name, but they don't have any service. They can sell you a warranty, but who's actually going to service your vehicle? Let's say you buy a Chevy from that place and they sell you a warranty, and then you end up at the Chevrolet dealer. Is not that Chevrolet dealer have an obligation to take care of his customers best, the ones that bought vehicles from him? That only makes common sense, right? Another big mistake people make is the vehicle doesn't fit your needs. Sometimes you may be a young guy in your 20s or whatever, then you get married and have kids and so forth. Now all of a sudden you need a sedan with extra room for the baby seats and everything. Or you're a lady and you're single and you're driving a sports car looking good and everything. Next thing you know, you find the man of your dreams, have a couple of kids, and you need the minivan or whatever. Or in a truck situation, if you have a truck, you want to pull a camper or something, you buy a truck and it's a little bit too light for your needs, then you've made a giant mistake, and that's a big mistake that we see people make in buying a car. Another big mistake I see people make is buying from a private individual. Sounds like a great deal, somebody runs an ad, they meet you in the Walmart parking lot. In the state of Mississippi you can get a clean title on a salvage vehicle. Yep, it's real easy. Because there's no nationwide database for titles, each individual of the 50 states promulgates their own rules and regulations for issuing titles. Unfortunately, here in Mississippi, as well as many other states, you can take a car that's been flooded, salvaged, wrecked, rebuilt, or whatever, go through a simple inspection process that's less than $100, go to any highway patrol officer and get them to certify that the vehicle has been repaired promptly, or correctly rather, and get a clean title on that vehicle. And then when you find that out, maybe months, maybe years after the fact, because you have recurring problems with the vehicle, electrical problems or whatever, something's just not right, or you take it to a dealership and they say, wait a minute, this car doesn't have any warranty coverage because it's been creamed, then you have no recourse. You're not going to go back to the Walmart parking lot and find that guy, right? Big mistake you can make in buying a car from a private individual. Buying based on the salesperson. We hear this so many times. I just like my salesperson. Well, in the car business, salesperson turnover is just absolutely notorious at my dealerships as well as every other dealerships in the country. It's an absolute fact of life in the car business. Salespeople turn over. I'm gonna bet you've had people that have sold you cars that then move from dealership to dealership and so forth. So wouldn't it make a lot more sense to buy based upon the dealer and his contributions to the local community and his involvement in organizations and the community of which you are passionate about, and they make life better in your community, rather than just based on the personality of the salesperson who probably ain't going to be there for very long. Another one is poorly structured financing, and that's our seventh and final one. Poorly structured financing, obviously you can get clocked in the finance office, but we see people every day, and so many people, they don't know. Sometimes people come in, they think they have bad credit because they were late a couple of times on a payment. Other people think they got good credit, and oh yeah, well that was repossessed and I had a judgment and a suit and I filed bankruptcy, but I thought the rest of it was pretty good. People don't really have a measuring stick to a reference point in terms of their credit. But the automobile industry and the lending industry does. It's called a FICO score, FICO, which stands for Fair Isaac Company. And I did a complete YouTube video on that. You can find on our YouTube channel on Wilson Auto Group how to improve your FICO score. But basically, the median or average FICO score is 678. Below 620 is considered subprime, and you'll pay a higher rate and have a lot more stipulations and a lot more documents and so forth that they'd be required to come up with. But your FICO score is available to you free, and your credit report is available to you free, and by going to myfreecreditreport.com. I encourage people to do this and look at what's on there. For all you know, someone has hijacked your credit and bought a car in your name. That happens very frequently. Identity theft is just a huge and growing crime that we see. So there you have it. 7 biggest mistakes, brought to you by Wilson Auto Group in Jackson, Mississippi. You can find out more information and more videos on our YouTube channel, Wilson Auto Group, and also on our website, www.wilsonautogroup.com. Thank you.